Hi, my name is Mike Jansen, and my company is 3M. They're a very diversified company, and they cover everything from computers to power cables. They specialize in the automotives department, and most of their things are such as respirators and building equipment for the actual automotive itself. They try to produce themselves in equipment and technologies that they can insert in the actual production making of the materials that big companies use, such as GM and Ford. So they will build respirators, things of that sort, to give to the people that work there. And it's kind of always a very good in for them. That way they can continue to use the products and present themselves to big companies that they know they'll always be selling a lot of equipment to on a consistent basis, such as GM for respirators or automotive undercoating and oils, things of that sort, because it's something that will always be used, and it's very, very important to a lot of people to have those things. So the average producer will buy them on a consistent basis. 3M, that's what their vision is. Their vision is for innovation, and they try to put themselves in the places where they will always be gathering business over the years, to where they know that they'll never be having a dull spot. And within that, they have diversified themselves to over half of their business is located overseas, where over half of it used to be located in America. Within the last decade, they've pushed to only 44.7% of their factories and building equipment is here located in the US. The remainder of that is all overseas in countries such as Russia, China. Those big countries, they have cheaper labor, of course, and then they don't have to have the shipping costs while it's already being produced there. So it keeps their labor cheaper. They're trying to produce factories where their equipment is getting sold. That way their products don't have to move so far, and it just saves on much of their expense. And that's part of their production overseas, is just to save in expenses and reduce costs. Their current ratio is 2.20, which for the industry that they are in, they're so diversified, but within their consolidations of their six major categories, from automotives to personal security and computer software and cabling of that sort, they're very diverse, and it keeps their ratios very high. On paper, they're excellent. Their debt to equity is very, very good. They are money in the bank. Their average is worth, their company is based out right now at 61 billion, I'm sorry, dollars. So they're definitely facing very good equity at this point. They're continuing to constantly innovate and stand up to their reputation of being a number one provider of the most advanced and most usable products for the average public. And that's why they've been so a powerhouse in this category for so many years. Their current ratio is 2.20, whereas the average in the industry is 1.28. So they're much, much higher, which goes to show that people are buying their products, and not even just the average producer, but like I mentioned earlier, big companies such as automakers and big computer factories, big businesses of any sort that use technology of that sort. They put in their security systems within their buildings, and they use their computers and their software, their cords, for simple things like hooking up the computer or hooking up their fridge, or a cable to hook up multiple phones or cables or anything that you would want electronics wise and security. And they're starting to divvy into more software in the recent years to make sure that they can provide needs for any customer expectation. And their quick ratio is 1.39, which is well above the current average of the industry at 0.74. It just goes to show that if they needed to turn everything into cash tomorrow, that they have the ability to, and they are very, very well oh, what's the word for it? There's very money ahead. So they're dealing with some debt. They have 7.21% on the balance sheet is percentage of debt. So they have very, very good money, but they still are dealing with some sort of a debt financing ratio. And most companies use this to their benefit because rather than spend money on certain things that they could use that in investing in R&D, which 3M is very, very heavily invested in their R&D department. $1.6 billion last year of their financing got put straight back into R&D and keeping up their reputation for innovation. So this is definitely something that they're passionate about, and they want to make sure and consist that reputation for future generations that are going to buy their products. Recommendations for 3M, they don't have to necessarily rethink their entire business strategy. They're doing very, very well to this point. They're the leader. General Electric, they are the next biggest producer of the same sort of goods, and that's the only bad part about 3M's. Their biggest weakness or threat, you could say, is that a lot of their products are very, very cyclical with other companies such as General Electric, and a lot of their products are so close to the same that they have to be very, very particular on their patents and their licensing, and keeping up with all of that it gets to be a hassle for them. But evidently they do a well job of keeping it up and keeping their patents and selling their products. And their hardest part is to control costs and keep their product being the cheapest on the market. And I recommend that they would continue to do their business plan, consist of a long term and not a short term, and think for the future and for future buyers. That's all, and thank you.